Scott, how are you doing this week?
I am doing great, Kayleen. I got to tell you a quick funny story. A couple of weeks ago, we started having water come out of our fan in the basement, right? It was dripping out of the fan, the ceiling fan in the basement. And, I don't know a lot about plumbing, but I know water shouldn't be coming out of your fan. And so actually I got under the sink. It turned out that our kitchen was right above the fan in the basement. I got under our sink and I determined there was a leak in one of the hoses and I fixed it myself, right? So, and it was such a rewarding feeling, it goes to what we talk about with the trades. But the funny part about it, I was able to fix it, thankfully, with some help from Home Depot, and I got everything fixed. We do have to replace our ceiling fan because it's ruined, but the funniest thing is someone was asking Sophie, our daughter, what I do for a living. And she said, well, he's kind of a plumber. So that's how she described me. And that's a pretty good description. But of course, I run a nonprofit organization called SEFCA here, and we promote the skilled trades here in Georgia. But so excited about our guests today. I'm looking forward to talking with Explore the Trades and hearing what they have to say. They do some amazing things.
Well, big time. And, your story really points to the fact that I believe, and many of us do, that at some point we all need to learn these skills in multiple different areas. My example is, did you take an automotive class? Yeah, you're probably going to drive a car. But same with these simple things like, yes, you can do simple repairs around your house. Are you there? My apologies.
I am here. Yeah.
Yes, so you can do simple repairs around your house. You don't always need to hire a professional. Yep. But being introduced and learning these things, at the end, you're a better consumer. And so I agree, how absolutely rewarding being able to diagnose and then correct it. And yeah, sorry about the ceiling fan loss, but it could have been so much worse, Scott.
It could have. Well, I checked the drywall and everything because I was worried, that maybe some water got in the drywall of the ceiling. And I was hoping that didn't happen because I know that would be a lot more expensive. But the other funny part of that story is I actually called a plumber first. I was like, this looks a little bit beyond my level. They said it was going to be 4 days before they could even come out, and I was like, wait, I can't wait 4 days. So that's when I started poking around a little bit and I figured out that, this is something I could fix. It was just it was one of those sprayer hoses, sinks have sprayers sometimes. And it was just the hose to the sprayer that had a tiny little pinhole in it that was leaking. It was the darndest thing, but it was a very easy fix and all is well.
That's amazing. Yeah. There's nothing worse than water damage. It is sometimes the sneakiest, tiniest little thing will create the worst amount of damage. And what is fascinating is I've heard all over the US, even before, this has been going on for years, on the shortage of plumbers and electricians, people who work in the MEPs, which is, mechanical, electrical, plumbing. So it's vital that we are promoting this. And I am too excited about talking about our guest today because, gosh, whether you're becoming a better consumer or then considering this for a career, how do you get started in it? Besides, tinkering in your house and being like, did Sophie watch and hang out, able to see, that's very cool.
Yeah. She's just getting more and more interested in the trades. In fact, I watched your video again, the video that you created with the tool company, and I'm going to have her watch that because it's just really cool to see you, building things and using the tools. And I think it'll just be really good for Sophie to see that. So I'm looking forward to sitting down and watching that. But hey, this group we're talking to today, Explore the Trades. So we discovered them. We started posting some of their material on our websites and on our social media channels. Victoria has been posting, and I've just been blown away at how professional and how clear their material is. And so that's why we were excited to talk to them, is they've done a really good job of laying out the career paths into plumbing and heating and air conditioning and a lot of different trades. So we just knew they were a perfect group for us to chat with today. So I'm looking forward to sitting back and listening to what they have to say.
Yeah, me too. I am incredibly excited because, my goodness. I'm sorry. My phone is very, very excited with phone calls today. I posted a picture of those pies and I'll tell you what, now my phone is all over the place. So well, quick side tangent before we bring on our guest. Normally I do have a cool tool for us to geek out with, but today I'm in my kitchen because I mistimed baking pies from leftovers. And so my apologies in advance to our guest. I know she has a lot of amazing information, but for 1 nanosecond I might be stepping away. But so Scott, you'll be here for the entirety of the interview, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts at the end, because yeah, this is great. It's a fantastically important information. About time we start, celebrating other ways to connect. So and actually, hey, Kate, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, hi, good morning.
Hello. Kate, where are you joining us from today?
We are based out of Minneapolis, St. Paul.
That's excellent. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
I know I was chatting with Scott earlier, and it's a bit warm in Georgia, but it's nice to be talking to folks in cooler climates. So, Kate, can you please tell me, who are you with and what do you do for them?
Yeah, so the organization that I work with is called Explore the Trades. So we are a nonprofit, and we have a passion for all things plumbing, HVAC, and electrical. So we know that there's such a demand for a skilled workforce, especially within these 3 trades. And so we focus on the residential service and replacement side of the industry, and we want to be the one-stop shop for those looking to come into this industry.
That's incredible. When we talk about the trade, sometimes it's really hard for folks to understand that there are so many different career paths.
Right.
It's not like,
right.
Oh, you're just going to swing a hammer out of high school forever. Like, oh gosh, no. The 3 that you're focused on, I've heard for years now, the shortage. Scott talked about 4 days. That seems fast. I feel like in some parts, of the country, they could be waiting a lot more. So with Explore the Trades then, how are you getting the word out with these 3 trades?
Yeah, so, with our website, with social media, we want to bring in the next generation of technical talent, so that can be, I think what we've done a really good job is explaining, how do I get into the industry? I think there's so many people out there. We know the routine, we know what it's like to get into college. We know that process, but there's so many people that don't know how to start a career here. And I think maybe it's the fear of the unknown. So I think we've really filled that need, and we've taken the opportunity to say, here's what it is. Here's what an apprenticeship is. Here's what it takes to be a licensed professional, and the growth opportunities that surround you in the trades of that company. There's a lot of growth opportunity that no one knows about. So we've taken the opportunity to raise our hand and say, well, we're going to tell you, and we're going to help you find a great career.
That's fantastic, because it really is. It's demystifying the magic trick, right?
Right.
Like a few months ago, I realized, and again, how do you get started in it? And so I just put my boots back on, went to work.
Yeah.
Guess what? Starting off, it's hard work, but it's really valuable. And the reasons are endless. It's a career with such growth potential. And so props for showing that arc, because you nailed it, that we really have ingrained the cycle of high school, college, career, happiness, or respect, or whatever. We haven't done a great job on it, talking about apprenticeship and internships. Can you help define that right now for our viewers?
Sure. Well, I think what's so valuable about an apprenticeship, and I'm talking with the whole skilled trades realm, all of these vocations, not just plumbing, HVAC, and electrical, but there's so many, and that apprenticeship allows someone new to the industry to come in and you learn the craft. It's over, a certain length of time. For our 3 trades, it can be anywhere from 2 to 5 years. Yeah. But really taking that opportunity to learn the craft so that you're able to come in, and I think the nice thing with that apprenticeship is, the company with whom you're working, they're paying you to learn how to do that. It's something that people aren't familiar with, but it's so important for the legacy and, the essential role that our trades fit into our communities. And, it's kind of a little known secret, but not a secret, so, we want to help educate people that you're not just a plumber, you're a plumber, but you've had years of training and education, and can certainly move anywhere within the industry with that.
Gigantic. You know, when we talk about, you know, and I don't know what needs to happen for us to start saying apprenticeship and equate it with the stigma and glory that comes along with a bachelor's degree or whatever. The reality is I think an apprenticeship is a master's degree. You know, journeyman, you're looking at PhD plus, and you talk about a master plumber. They're in how many hours? I mean, this is years. Right. And you know, when you talk about the 10,000 hour concept to become a master in something, and that takes years. They say around 10, whatever. And now you're talking about apprenticeship, which is a quarter of that plus. But it's excellent to bring the level of that awareness up on, oh, you just started an apprenticeship, but you're getting paid while you learn.
To learn to do it. Yeah.
So with this valuable information in your focus, who are you trying to reach? Who's your target for this information?
Yeah, I could say everybody. But I think, you know, we're especially trying to reach out to those who are new to the industry. That could be recent high school grads, that could be those exiting military service. You know, there's so many people out there who don't know the vastness of what this industry can provide to you and your family. And I just think of all the students in school, you know, kind of that grades 9 through 12, and well, what do you want to do in college? Well, you know, I don't know. And so there's so many out there who don't know that they probably have an excellent attitude and personality and the aptitude and the interest for these careers, but no one's ever shared it with them. So we want to say, we'll help you figure that out. You know, we want to provide you with the career information, the job boards, the apprenticeship resources to help you make that transition. So, you know, we know those new to the trades are our demographic. We know that educators and parents and other influencers play a huge role in those discussions as well. So we also have resources for that group as well online.
That's fantastic. I don't know statistic wise, however long ago, but you know, you used to have to repeat something 3 times before somebody understood it. And then it was 7. And now we're looking at, I heard it was over 10 or some ridiculous thing. So honing in on it, because colleges do a great job on starting early with this notion that, you know, this is the path. It's the only path. And I joke that I remember being in a board meeting with professionals and sitting there and realizing if they find out I don't have any college credits, they're going to kick me out of the room. And like, no, it wasn't how it was at all. Not at all. And all right, so kind of you're doing a great job demystifying it, but the first step is definitely the hardest. So let's talk about, how does your program help discover the jobs in skilled professions? And great, we're pulling up this great website too.
Awesome. Yeah, so you know, if I'm going to guide my mouse over to the quadrant that says new to the trades, you know, I think we've done a great job of, like you said, you know, taking the mystery out of it. And so we provide an outline in this section to really say, okay, here's what an apprenticeship is, and here are the different ways you can find one. So it could be working with a local company. It could be starting at trade school. There's connections there. It could be working with your state's Department of Labor and Industry. They have apprenticeship programs, and we have other national organizations listed that have state chapters. So the goal is to say, again, let's make it as easy as possible. Let's find and give information that if I'm in Minnesota, I know what I'm looking for. So it's not this, you know, digging through layers upon layers of information, but being able to click on our map, hit Minnesota, and there's the information. So again, all of the resources that we have, we want to just lay it out to walk you through all those steps.
That's awesome. Yeah, the resources are so valuable, especially with the gatekeepers.
Right.
And so, you know, you talked about kind of the pathways for somebody coming into it, but can you talk about the information you have as far as influencing, let's say, the parental gatekeepers, which is sometimes the toughest? Well, because I think, okay, I've told the story before, but super fast. when I used to travel all the time, I love watching local news because it's so much fun. And there was a story where the anchors were talking about, are you planning on having a baby? Some things that you should do, like take the poison up off the floor, lock your cabinet, and then start saving for college.
Right.
And so we have been preparing parents that a sign of success for their students is this a goal, is this event. And so what information do you have for them as far as helping them understand their child will be vastly successful in this industry?
Right. And, you know, Kayleen, I agree with you. I think parents are the toughest audience to get through to, because in so many conversations I've had parents of high school students say, you know what, those jobs are important. Electricians, HVAC techs, plumbers, they're super important, but not for my child. And so, you know, you kind of get worked up to say, well, now wait a second, you know, it's putting in a new light on it to say, without these tradespeople, our communities do not function. Our country does not function. So we're looking to them to be the experts in daily life, right? So a lot of the resources we have for parents, and I know that it was on the screen earlier, but that career path, you know, we have one for plumbing and HVAC and electrical to say, yep, there it is. So if I'm starting here after school or after I have my GED, here's the path, you know, here's what we can expect for pay. We know that there's training involved. So it's not to say I pick up a wrench and I'm a plumber. That's not true. You know, it's all of the education that's highly regulated by our states and municipalities. It's ensuring that, you know, it's not just loosey-goosey, but, you know, there's a strict set of requirements there, and your child, you know, can have that opportunity of being kind of a superhero. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in the, you know, you wake up in the morning and there's no hot water. Well, if I have a master's degree, I don't know how to fix that, you know? So, you know, I think it's this different attitude to say these jobs are important and without them we can't function. And, you know, if I can serve my neighbor every day and all of those in my community, that's a pretty big deal. You know, a lot of us can't say that with our daily jobs, but with these trades, you absolutely can.
That's such a great point. I keep forgetting about that too. And I even tell students that one of the reasons that I love this career so much is because I get to help people.
Right.
It's incredibly rewarding. You know, the pay is great, but I've worked in enough careers now where, you know, I made a lot of money as a dispatcher, great, super high stress. But it wasn't until I started doing this line of work that I felt internally rewarded.
Sure.
And so that's incredibly important to talk about, because we've had discussions before that talking about life opportunities and not necessarily full-time careers is the nice lingo to talk about. And so, yeah, the rewarding side is very powerful.
Yeah,
so in addition to the parent information, let's talk about the teachers, because I think we're actually now starting to see an awareness with a lot of teachers blending a lot of this information, which is great. You know, math should be taught as a language, and I did not like math, but now the older I get, I'm like, I'm a nerd for it. It explains all things, but teachers are doing a really excellent job starting to, you know, you need to teach reading and writing because you might need to look at blueprints. So what are some resources for teachers?
Yeah, absolutely. So yep, exactly. I was just going to say, let's move the mouse to the STEM resources. So what we did, and we know that the STEM programs in schools are really important, right? So what we did is we have our own take on what STEM is, and we've broken it down with videos and corresponding articles to say, here's how STEM fits into all of these three trades. So we walk through the math, we walk through the science, just to say, here's an example of how these subjects in school will help you do your job. So we have a great collection of those videos.
Oh, that's fantastic, because really showing that, oh, okay, this is why I do what I do. That's really exciting. And I think that'll be a great resource for teachers as well, especially in the virtual world. And so speaking of the virtual side, how has exploring the trades sort of tackled, well, the new teaching environment that we're working in?
Right. Yeah. Everyone's virtual. So that's a great point, Kayleen. And, you know, I think from my perspective, you know, hands-on technical education, we started to gain some ground, right? And then the pandemic hits and then we send all of our students home, which is fine. But what if I'm in that electrical class in school? How is this going to work? And so what we've done, and I don't remember what area of the page it's on, but we've partnered with an online curriculum company called Next Tech Academy. And they have created, there it is, right there. They've created 4 levels of content that's aimed for people who are new to the trades. And what we've done, we've partnered with them in a program called Ready, Set, Skilled. So what we would like to do is offer pre-apprenticeship level information to grades 9 through 12 around the country. So we know that it's so important to keep this education and training going, and we want to fit that virtual need for these classes. So we have it available. We have information online. So if schools or instructors are interested, I would love to talk with you, because this is so important. And we've been able to offer this for free, yay, free, due to great industry support from a lot of our vendors and partners. So we have the demo online if people would like to check it out, but we feel like, okay, if our education and training can't happen in the classroom, then we're going to help make it possible in a virtual classroom.
That's excellent, and definitely a resource that's so needed right now, because
Right.
Yes, how do you, I mean, I remember being a very little kid, and I don't recommend this, but I'm just saying it did happen. But I learned about electricity early on by licking one of those square batteries. That's a tough way, right? But that's not a way you can actually teach this trade, and the resources have become sort of difficult. And so
Right.
thank you for providing that for our teachers and students, because we had to keep the ball rolling, especially because we were looking at such a deficit of skilled workforce folks prior to this.
Right.
And so, all right, so you have the students coming in, we've convinced the parents. Now, do you have employers also participate and be like, hey, we want to hire you, here are things?
Wait a second. Yeah, so I mean, a lot of the information that we have online can also be used by other contractors and companies to say, you know, if you're looking for an easy way to explain what the industry can offer you, you know, I would encourage you to utilize the handouts that we have, the videos that we have. I mean, they're so easy to incorporate through social media. And, you know, I think sometimes with hiring, you know, when you get someone who's interested in coming into the industry, talking to a company, they'll say, well, I don't have any technical background. And this is where I would pause folks to say, you don't necessarily need it in order to start, because, you know, from our side, you know, we're looking at residential service and replacement. So if you are someone who enjoys working with people every day and new projects, you know, you're a great fit for this industry. You know, when you think about it, if I'm home and I have a technician come because the AC is broken, you know, when I started up in April, then I want someone who I can trust and build rapport with, who can communicate with me effectively and, you know, diagnose the problem. Here's how we're going to fix it. You know, I think these companies, a lot of them hire with the mentality of, you know, you're going to hire for character, trained for skill. The technical part can come later, but if you are such a great fit and embody all of those characteristics, this is a great fit. This industry is a great fit.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. A nice little nugget to, you know, inform people, because I've been preaching it for years too. And it's a really nice way to sort of break it down on, look, okay, fine. So you start here, you know, and this is where else you can go. But the hourly pay, the breakdown, the training, it's very valuable information to demystify the magic trick.
That's right. That's right.
So talk about, because, you know, sometimes students are a tough sell. They do want to go to a trade school. You know, they're starting to now realize, I think, the long-term investment that this opportunity has been provided for them, meaning the four-year university for so long. But let's say we have a very informed student who wants to do something like this. How do they go about finding the right program to learn from?
Yeah, sure. Well, and, you know, like what we talked about earlier is that it could vary a lot by where you are, by your location, what you're interested in. So, and we also have those links online with those directories to say, okay, well, if I'm in Chicago, here are those programs that are outlined for me. If I'm in Las Vegas, it's the same thing. So I think it's all about really, and it's not a one size fits all. We know that there's several ways to get into the industry. It's whatever fits you and your schedule. And if you're combining school and work, there's a lot of programs out there, a lot of trade schools who can help you find that right fit and the best place to start.
Yes, and it is not intimidating. In fact, it's the best thing ever. I wish that there were more opportunities for folks immediately to have classroom experience balanced with on-the-job training.
Right.
I have in real life met now people who work in the medical industry as doctors and said that they didn't see, some gross things until their junior year.
Right.
And then they realized, like, ew, dead bodies are gross. And I don't know how to do it. But they were in so long. And so trades really, they're offering this opportunity that directly out of high school or at any transition in life. I mean, I don't know if you know the statistic, I can't off the top of my head on how many folks have already invested in a 4-year university or college degree and are coming into this industry because they realize there aren't any jobs. And if there are, they don't pay well and there's not a lot of growth.
Right. Well, and, Kayleen, you just reminded me, I just read this article by the Washington Post just a couple days ago, and they gave a real-time look into going into college. What's that 4-year path? And all of the stats, which I can't recall off the top of my head either, but, they kind of said, we've all been taught this, like we have to go to college after high school. That's just the way it is. And they broke it down by saying, well, you have these people who can't finish in 4 years. You have people who just leave, so they're talking about student loan debt. They're talking about the fact that for some, college has become, unfortunately, an expensive career exploration program, and which is a different take on it, right? And I think from our perspective, we know that college is a great fit and an important fit for a lot of people. We're also saying on the flip side, the trades, especially plumbing, HVAC and electric, are also important, and to think about those as well. So really taking the opportunity to take that stigma out of it and put everything on a level playing field.
I agree. No, it's some excellent points brought up. Out of every 10 jobs, only 3 require that higher education. Right. But boy, have they done a great job making a business out of that.
That's right.
Yes. I think it's about time that we start promoting more that, hey, you can learn, and then have a great career. And so, Scott, welcome back to the conversation. Kate, this was great info. One thing that we didn't actually say, can you please say the website that folks should go to?
Oh yeah, our website is explorethetrades.org.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Yeah. And Scott, what'd you think?
Yeah, it was so good to hear directly from Kate. Like I said, I've admired the work that they do there for several months now since I first learned about it. And I love the clarity that they lay out the career pathways. I mean, it's just amazing. And the point about parents too, that's something that we're really tackling here in Georgia, as you know, Kayleen. In fact, I have a favor to ask you. I won't ask you here online and put you on the spot, but we need your help in February to get to parents. We have a good plan in place, and we want to try something, and you could be a big help. So I'll talk to you more about that. But yeah, parents are definitely the key. I mean, parents, they want to feel proud, and that's, totally understandable. But there's no way to feel more proud than to come into the trades. That's the message that I have to share. I mean, there's just so much pride that goes with having, built a building or fixed a problem. I mean, I see it with Sophie all the time with my own daughter. She's so proud when she does something and builds something with her hands. So I think it's an easy sell. The hard part is how do you corral the parents and get them in a room and talk to them about this? To me, that's the challenge, because they're just kind of spread out everywhere. There's no one place that you can go to get to parents. To me, that's the big challenge is corralling them in a room or in a place or somewhere to share this message. Because I think if we can figure that out, we can get them on board.
Yep.
We got to start early. We'll advertise on the back of baby food. I don't know. We're gonna create
I like it.
Yeah, pasta. So again, Kate, thank you so much for taking the time for lunch today. It was great information. Scott, thanks for hanging out. As always, this is so much fun. And folks, if you have any questions for Scott or Sefco, you can always text Career Path to 31996. And next week, we're going to be hanging out with some folks from Holder Construction. Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah, so we're going to geek out with some folks from Holder and talk more about construction stuff, as always. So, Kate, Scott, thank you so much for joining me for lunch.
Yes, Kayleen, thank you.
Yeah, it's
good
awesome.
To see you again. Enjoy those pies.
I wish there was smell-o-vision. It's pretty good in here, I gotta admit. So, yeah.
Have a great day.
Thank
See
you.
you next week.
Thank you, Kate.
Bye.